Hi, kindergarten. It is Miss Keeley here again. I hope you guys all were able to complete this kind of challenging project for you guys. But I mean, it's April. We're kind of far into the year. I think you guys are very capable of doing this project. So today we're going to talk about adding color to our pictures. So you can have some different options. I'm going to show you kind of a fun option that I'm hoping everyone has just regular Crayola or like regular markers at home. If not, if you have like watercolor paint, you can use watercolor paints. Um, or if you don't have either of those, you can always use crayons or color pencils. But essentially what you are going to do is you are going to pick a color and you need to have a light shade of the color and a dark shade. So I have like a light blue and a dark blue, and then I was also going to test out using pink, like a light pink and like a magenta pink color. Um, but the key thing is that you want to pick like the same color family and just have a light and a dark version, okay? So I'm just going to show you first like a new way to paint. Some of you guys might know this or some of you might not. So if you do want to paint with Crayola markers, what you need is a piece of tin foil. You're going to take that marker and you are just going to start coloring on a piece of tin foil and do a big area. You're going to take your other colors and just kind of keep filling it in, but you want to make sure that you're not really overlapping them too much. And so I'm just going to fast forward this because I do my light blue and I do my dark blue. And I was just testing out at first, so I took a paintbrush, some water, a paper towel. Um, and again, I was just kind of testing out at first. Let's see, I'm going to fast forward this. So I'm just testing out the pink, wash my paintbrush because it's just kind of like in class, we have to paint, we always wash our paintbrush. I was testing out the magenta, almost like a purple color. And then I'm going to test out the blues just to see what I want to actually choose on my project. And so I really like the way that the blues look together. So I'm going to be using the blue colors, okay? And so again, if you're using this technique, awesome. If you're using watercolor paints, um, hopefully you have two that are kind of similar. If you're using crayons or color pencils, just a light and a dark of a color, okay? And so you're going to start with your lighter color and you are going to start to paint in right next to that crayon area that should be kind of blocked off. And even if you paint on top of that crayon area, it's not going to color it in because it's wax. Crayon is made out of wax and water and wax don't really mix, so it kind of just slides off. Kind of like when we use watercolor paints and oil pastel, you can't really mix them. And then I'm going to take that dark shade and I'm going to go right next to the light blue, and it should be on the far side. And it's okay if they mix a little bit in the middle, but you're just creating this layer of like white, your light color, and then a dark. And you might need to kind of fill in that dark again and again. I think at the very end I go back and I fill it in more, but you're just creating these kind of three sections within every oval that we had. And so always remember that your light color is in the middle and then your dark color is on the other outer edge opposite from your white crayon, okay? And if you are using this technique of the marker on tinfoil, paintbrush painting, it might not be as vibrant as paint, so you might need to go back and fill it in every now and again, like let it dry and then go back and do it again. I just wait till I do all the sections and then I go back to some of these, okay? And so you're just going to keep repeating that light color in the middle, dark on the opposite side, and you're doing it to all of your sections, and you'll see as I start to fill in all of mine, it starts to look a little bit 3D, almost like a real shiny balloon animal. And so that's kind of where we talk about form, which are like 3D art. This is kind of showing an illusion of like a 3D work of art because we're adding some shading, some depth, some dimension. I know that those are some really big words for you guys to be hearing, but those are all art vocabulary words that you'll start learning as you take more and more art classes throughout the years, okay? So you can just Remember that for this project that we're focusing on the artist Jeff Kuhn, we can talk about form, which is a fancy word for 3D shapes, which we already did a project on. Okay, and then you can see I'm going back with my dark blue and I'm just filling it in so it looks a little bit more dark. I'm adding some more dimension to it, and this looks complete to me, and it is the full painted balloon animal. Next week we're going to focus on kind of cutting it out, so and kind of creating some sort of background for it. But that was it for this week. Depending on kind of what your setup might be, this could take a while. So I didn't want to kind of overload you guys with too much this week. Play around with some colors or experiment with the painting before you actually paint on it. Or if you have any issues, feel free to email me with any questions or concerns, and I can't wait to see how they come out. Again, we're still not done with this project, so you don't need to send me a picture yet, but if you want to, of course, I love to see them. I will chat with you guys next week, and I can't wait to see how they come out. Bye.